scary, you know. And I remember when SJ finally got his marriage impediment forms, he calls me. I think you were in a text. He was like, "Babe, I got them. Exciting." He opens the envelope and he's like, "Wait a minute." No, he got his business visa documents.
Yeah, all of that authenticated.
Right, because to enter Taiwan, you needed to come with Purpose Business Visa was one of them. So we used that for him to also apply for his wedding documents, marriage documents. Mm-hmm. So when he went to the visa office, he received those papers. But then when he was on a text, he realized that he didn't have his marriage impediment forms, which is what we really needed if we decide to get married in Taiwan. That's where I lost it. You know, I was just so frustrated. Right. I was like, "Where are you right now? Can you please give your phone to the lady who's assisting your documents?" Right. And he was like, "Oh, I'm already in a taxi." I was like, "Please go back there. Give me the phone number. Wenchi. I'm going to call Wenchi. Thank you, Wenchi. And sorry if I lost my temper." Right. But I called Wenchi and I used Chinese. You know, I was like, I didn't say kind things at that time. Yeah. I wasn't mean, but I was frustrated. I just said we did our part. Assertive, yeah. And what about the service we deserve? You know, what about my husband's documents are not complete? What my wife is trying to say, not to interject, but basically,
no, sorry to interject. No, but I literally had typed out, not written out, typed out the instructions of what we needed. We needed the non-impediment, we needed the business visa, and we needed all of these things authenticated. However, when I go there, they were like, "We don't know what to do with this particular document for marriage. We say you want to be married, but we have your business visa, so we only authenticated this." Now,
twitching.
The weird part about this, guys, is that right before this, I also had somebody who was slightly incompetent when it came to the notary. Mm-hmm. So the notary, I had to get not only my marriage non-impediment form, just get it in general, I had to then have it translated to Chinese. And because of COVID, nothing is open, so I had to go to a remote place to get it done. Then when I got it done, that was right before I got the positive COVID test results. So I paid an expedited price to get it done the following day, all to find out that my test was positive. However, the person only basically translated one of 3 pages I gave them. Right. So then we still had to get the other 2 translated no matter what. Right. So there was a lot of that back and forth. Is there something you want to say about that before I continue?
No, after we called the embassy, you were there, you got all your documents. But, you know, there was still this part of me that was like, is there anything else that's going to happen? Or, you know, remember now I'm already doubting. I'm asking God confirm. And the only way to confirm was for him to really get on their plane and arrive in Taiwan.
That's right.
And then, you know, you had to find out your second results were...
Oh, so I finally got my second results. You guys have to understand, I even did a blood test to make sure, shout out to my friend Maya. She was like, "Hey, why don't you check for your antibodies to see if you even have it in your blood?" So I was negative for antibodies. And, you know, I don't like needles. Who does? But then when I went in there, now less scared, because the first time I was scared because I was running around thinking that maybe it could be a possibility. So then this time I went in, sung my song, got the pinch, was negative, got the results, almost didn't get the results because it was like a snowstorm. Winter, because it was like February, right?
Yeah, suddenly there's a snowstorm.
The place was 4 minutes away, walking distance from my house to get the test. They're like, "Oh, sorry, we're closed for the day, snowstorm." I'm like, Lord, the only thing I know is that there's a clinic that is right by this gourmet, grocery store that I went to. And they were like, "Yeah, we take your insurance and we can take your test." They were turning people down left and right, but I had the right insurance and I took the test. And I was like, "Great, this place is great." Yeah. Get home, get the results same day. It said negative, non-detected, female.
Now I'm laughing, but
female.
And we didn't notice that when you sent me the results. We were just looking for negative. We didn't even notice.
At this time, I was sending my mom back and forth. She was helping me with some of the travel arrangements. So I sent it to her and she goes, son, it says female. You gonna have to get that changed, boo. I was like, wait, what? So at this point, just imagine we have the positive COVID test and the negative COVID test, and then the forms not being fully authenticated. Then a female misgendering on my documents, which none of this equates to getting on the plane to Taiwan. I needed everything to be, T's crossed and I's dotted, and it was not happening in the way that we had intended and paid for. And then to add insult to injury, right before I went to that embassy, they said we need 2 passport photos. And I thought I had 2 passport photos because I just recently got my passport renewed, right? I couldn't find one of the 2 photos. So I had to go to another place, risking the possibility of contracting COVID again. Only days between leaving. So I was just praying. I was pleading the blood. I was like, Lord, please, I can't get COVID again. I gotta go. Everything's paid for. I got clothes for Taiwan. I have my equipment for Taiwan. I got suitcases. I was on Amazon all the time. You got
a quarantine hotel. Everything was booked.
Everything.
You just had to get on that airplane.
Had to get on the airplane. So
you finally did.
I finally got on the airplane.
With lots of prayer and our parents praying for us.
Oh, man.
Mom was praying every day. Your mom was praying. Our dads were just like supporting us. I mean, I had to get my marriage impediment forms too, but I am so thankful that my parents had to do that back in Swaziland while I was in Taiwan. And they were so positive. Even when I doubted, they were like, baby, we got you. We're going to go. The only thing that I noticed that this is a warfare was when they went to the government office to get my forms, the next day, that whole building was closed because it was a COVID case. So if they delayed like a day later, I would still not get my forms. So God was with us in the process.
Yeah.
But man, it was not fun. It definitely wasn't. But we trusted. We trusted that God is with us.
We trusted that God was with us. But the crazy part, and I think that I might have to have a separate story time for this part.
I think we need a lot of separate stories.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was going to be a long quarantine. I'll leave some of the story for later, but the quarantine that was supposed to be 14 days turned out to be 21 days.
I hate it here.
Of me in full isolation. Now, after the 14 days, then you're able to leave, but you have to do something called a self-help quarantine in Taiwan. So that means that whatever plans I had to propose to Tivamile right after, to go on a date, anything like that, couldn't even go into a restaurant. Had to just be with her at my post-quarantine hotel. However, it just felt like a quarantine to a quarantine. So just imagine I was quarantined in New York and now Taiwan just additionally. So it just never stopped. But let's fast forward a little bit because we know quarantine is just mundane, and I have some stuff that I'll share with you guys about that later. But in terms of how we got to finally be married.
And no, the first day we met, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry to fast forward.
First day, but
Well, so I'll let her take it, and then I'll give my take. After being quarantined that long, you guys have to understand, the only time I saw any bits of Tivamile in person was from my hotel room on like the 16th floor. And by miraculousness, I saw her and she kind of saw my hands on the window, but it wasn't like you could just look into the window. She had to look up at some sort of figure hitting the window saying, I see you, but I hadn't seen her in 21 years.
Yeah.
So just imagine you're longing to see this person, but yet you're locked up in a cage and you can't see them until the government says when you can see them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you mentioning 21 years, we haven't seen each other in 21 years. Then to add to that, finally arriving to Taiwan, I couldn't pick him up at the airport airport. He had to go straight to a quarantine.
Right, I almost forgot.
And then
oh
quarantine for 21
spray me
days.
Spray me down at the airport. I was the last suitcase. I was tired. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was rough.
13-hour flight?
Yeah.
No.
But I was, as soon as he got on that airplane, you have no idea. I ran to my room and got on my knees and I was like, thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. And then he called me. You were on the airplane. I think you called me just to tell me I'm on the airplane.
I used
I'm on
minutes.
the flight. Right. And all that just gave me so much peace. And so when you arrived to Taiwan, obviously I was happy you got into your hotel, but we still couldn't really see each other. So we were still dating via Instagram. Those Instagram video calls were the lifesaver for us.
But quick tidbit, honey, Line is the Instagram kind of I mean, it's not Instagram, but it's more of a communicative platform where literally,
like Messenger.
Right. But the biggest difference is on Instagram, when you look at somebody, you actually are not looking into their eyes. You're kind of looking but Line, they set up the camera where it looks like you're looking directly at them. So just imagine this whole time we're looking here and there and we can't look at ourselves to see each other.
We see each other.
In Line, it's like you're looking directly into each other's eyes. So now I finally felt that it was closer and real because now I had this app. It's Asian app. Or is it only Asia?
It's a Taiwanese app.
Taiwanese app. There you go.
That everyone uses now. But yeah, that's when we realized in his quarantine hotel, like, wait a minute, I actually see your eyes. Like when we're talking.
We're engaging in that way. Right.
So everything else was fake. No, I'm kidding. Everything else was obviously not fake, but it was another experience we had on dating online of the interaction we've been having and then the new one. But so 21 days not seeing each other. Finally, I can go
14.
14. Finally, I can go pick you up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had to do self-manage quarantine, which was equivalent to 21 days.
We did Valentine's Day from my hotel.
Yeah.
I literally had to send stuff over so her sister could send my stuff because I had no idea that I wasn't going to see my wife on Valentine's Day.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, on the 14th of February. Which I'm really thankful for February came because I was doubting you coming. Yeah. And then when my friend mentioned the whole February date, that's the day the Lord will bring you. And then mentioning the Super Bowl, I'm like, what does that have to do with me meeting Esjae?
Oh, okay.
And he actually did arrive the day after Super Bowl. And that was just confirmation that God heard my prayers and used Amanda to pray on it and then confirm the date and month of when he would really come to Taiwan. So I shouldn't be worried. So how is it like? Yeah, when I first finally saw you in person.
Oh man, so
in person.
The suspense was killing me. Literally, I was just like, "Get me out of this hotel! I can't even smell my own scent anymore. I don't care if it's a cologne. I don't want to smell myself anymore." So when I finally saw her running around the corner, it caught me off guard, and then I was just like, "It's automatically, y'all. She has a scent, like a perfume smell."
A little subtle, perhaps, but...
And I automatically went back to high school. I really thought I remember the scent. So it brought me back to oh, this was my friend at some point. And I don't know, something about it was so familiar that it didn't feel like anything. And I made an intention to you. I said, when I see you, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm not going to just act like we're just friends who were dating online. We are getting married, so I'm going to be in the cab and I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to just get used to touching in, the way
touching each other.
In an appropriate way before the wedding.
Appropriate or okay, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so what about you? What did you feel?
Yeah, when I saw Esjae, first thing I did was scream because I didn't expect that he would be waiting outside of the hotel. So I'm getting ready with my phone and I see this tall, handsome man and I screamed. I was like, ah! And, it felt like I'm meeting someone I was supposed to meet, It was nice to see the miracle happen before you, oh, you are real. Wow, this is really you. Everything I imagined and it's right in front of me. Yes, we were a little nervous, but not to the point where we're not ourselves. And the role changed all of a sudden. It's like now I am with this person where together we're communicating where we're going, what call a taxi. It was just not, it was no longer on phone anymore. It was real, it was in person. And it was personal.
It was personal and it felt right. And we just continued that on. Like that day was just magical just to be around each other finally, even though I got that call that morning that I wouldn't be able to go out and take her out, you know, the way I'd like to. You know, it still was worth it and special, you know.
It was. And I enjoyed our cab ride to his apartment where he was self-quarantined. You know, we just held hands in the cab, and it wasn't like, do you want to hold hands? It just, we easily embraced each other, and it was so nice. It felt good to know, wow, this is the hand you've always wanted to hold and not feel weird or awkward.
Right.
But it just felt right. I don't have any other word to describe it. It felt like a miracle. It felt arranged. Does that make sense? Like, someone arranged this. You know when people say, "Have I just had deja vu?" It felt like this was all arranged, and I can only say, God arranged it.
Only God arranged it.
So we finally arrived to his apartment where he was going to be quarantined for the rest of the trip. And you know, I was happy. It was only 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
From my house driving, and it was great because he was right here. I remember finally right? We were able to cook dinner together. We went back to my place, and
I cooked dinner.
He
tried it.
Look at you throwing me under the bus.
I'm sorry. I cooked.
What about couple goals?
Hey.
Anyway, cooked dinner. It was good too. It was very good. He got to meet my sister, and it was just nice for all three of us to get together. It felt like real. We
all went to the same high school, so I remember her sister vaguely as well.
Yeah, we called home, called his mom, called my parents, called my brother-in-law. It was just nice to celebrate that he was finally in Taiwan after all these crazy weeks.
And honestly, it was crazy to be in Taiwan. It was just like, what? Like, I'm from the Bronx originally. What are we doing in Taiwan? You know, but it was absolutely worth it. And truly and honestly, just the journey along the way was really worth it. And finally seeing you and being in an environment where we're outside of confined spaces was like, wow, this is what my life is about to be committed to.
Yeah.
This person who is real, who I was committing to by faith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And we needed that faith every day. It felt like one more day. We just need one more day to get through this. From when we met in August up until now, it's felt like that's what we needed. One more day, Lord, let this happen. Make it possible for us. And it really happened.
It
Yeah.
really happened. And we just hope that even in this channel, we're able to inspire you guys on our journey. There's so much more to share with you. And there's so much more we would like to impart just as far as the process of being married is. So, you know, let us know if you want to hear more of our story. We wanted just to give you this this part of the saga, but there's so many more chapters that are currently being made and have been made. So let us know in the comments. Let us know, you know, family, friends, and newcomers welcome. And we'd love to talk about our wedding. We'd love to talk about marriage counseling and just navigating what it's like to live together for the first time. So like, let us know what you want to hear from us. We love you all. And
we love you guys. From dating to
courting, same thing,
being engaged and now married. It takes faith, it takes a miracle, but it also just takes a desire. Do you desire it? And that's what we both desired, and we were intentional. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. We were reading Relationship Goals book right in the beginning of our relationship.
Right.
Did not plan that. It's just that's the book I got on my birthday.
Yeah.
Which, another thing before we go, he surprised me with a birthday dinner for my birthday, August 25th. He said, "Can I take you out on a date?" Imagine we're still on quarantine. He decked up his room, his place. He put my name with party balloons. He sent a menu, 5-course menu, saying this is what I'm going to prepare. Wear a pretty dress. He just took the time to make this day special for me on the 24th. And I celebrated my birthday with him before I did it with my girls the next day. And that was just one of the few things where I knew Esjae is the man that God put aside for me. He's my boys, as people say. Hey. He's my bone to bone.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's my
so if you want to know more about our marriage process and just like what we're up to, yes, please just put it in the comments. We'll be here. Yeah,
look forward to sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need. Just one more day. Yeah, we love you guys. Love you, baby. As we live in this world, it's very easy to start listening to different voices that tell us who we should be. But God says He is the King, the Lord of Lords. You are my sons and daughters. If you go in my presence, you will know who you